Financing until 2026. Imagine, design, build. Tired of your old
Streaming from the
kitchen?
ABC Action Weather Center in Studio A. This is Dennis Phillips Live. Brought to you by CMK Construction, crafting Tampa's most exquisite bathrooms and kitchens.
All right, everybody, it is Friday. I made it. Did you make it? We are not on the Spot 66 tonight, so it's a little bit more of a free-form show, a little more relaxing. We're going to do a little bit more Dennis Phillips style. A little behind the scenes. I'm a Type A personality. When I first found out I was going to be doing this show, it kind of stressed me out. My blood pressure went up because even though I like free form and kind of fly by the seat of your pants weather coverage, this is so different. This is not a weather coverage show, even though it's a weather show. It always made me nervous. But you guys made it really easy and really fun. But on Friday, because we're not on the Spot, we're just on the ABC Action News Plus channel and, of course, on social media, this is a lot more relaxed today. I, of course, have a plan. I'm not going to go into this without a plan, but this is going to be a little more free-flowing, and we've got more time. Time to drink my Diet Dr. Pepper. That's because producers at home, you only have to keep track of one out time tonight, and that is 7:58. That is when we say goodbye to the folks on the ABC Action News Plus channel. I'll probably be leaving soon after that as well. Just got a text message. Chicken's in the oven. Dinner's getting ready. Cookie and I are going to be eating. We're so excited. So I'm going to be heading as soon as I go home. I'm going to be heading, as soon as we finish, I'm going to be heading home right after this. All right, what's everybody doing? I asked for some shout outs. Where are you watching from? Ooh, you guys are really commenting quickly here. Seminole, Ryan, hey, so fast. Carol's here. Thank you, everyone, for being such a great audience this week. I know it was different. Dennis is not here, but I'm really happy you guys still stood around for me tonight. All right, Anna Marie from Largo, hello to you. Julie's here, of course, always from Brandon. We've got Jean from Lutz, Darlene from Tampa. How's everyone doing? What's for dinner? Chicken, rice, and beans, maybe something else. Yesterday, I threw in a little avocado with my rice and beans. Funny story, or interesting story. You guys know Vinny, my other half. He's Brazilian. They do not treat the avocado as a savory food item. It is technically a fruit, right? It's got a seed inside. They very much treat it as a fruit. So he can only eat avocado with sugar. And he often puts it into Frosted Flakes. I don't know. I don't know why. Isn't that weird? It's strange. It's different. I guess avocado doesn't have a strong taste, but it's just, it's interesting how the different cultures kind of arrive at the avocado and what to do with it. Debbie's watching from Zephyr Hills. Jane's from Manatee County. Prudy from Spring Hill. Hey, Prudy. SRQ in the house. Janice is watching from Sarasota. Michelle from Madeira Beach. We've got Charlotte in Seminole. Priscilla, she is in Southeast Polk County. Greetings there. In Lake Wales now, but reside in Frostproof. Priscilla, tell me about the weather in Lake Wales over the last hour. Is there any flooding out there? Because this thunderstorm, I know most of you have seen quiet weather, but Lake Wales, man, They took everybody's rain and got it all in about the last 2 hours, and probably everyone's lightning too. The lightning there in Lake Wales has been incredible. The AC is working better in the studio, but I'll show you this since we're a little bit more freeform. I don't know if I showed you this, guys, yesterday. I brought my own fan from home yesterday. Yesterday was a lot easier. That's why I'm wearing the jacket. But the temperature has dropped. I don't know whether the AC is working better or it's because it's a little better outside. This thing, it's on low. You can barely hear it. It is making a world of a difference out there. I mean, I'm feeling great. The airflow underneath around my sweaty ankles. Why do your ankles sweat? Why did I have sweaty ankles earlier in the week? It is feeling a whole lot better. All right, Dr. Pepper is popped. That's right. Jamil, I can't send it to Trinidad. Sorry, buddy. Chicken's going in my belly. Keith from Clearwater. Marion Lealman. I know. Northport. Their guac. I know. I'm seeing your reactions to the avocado. Listen, I'm not going to fight these battles, okay? Jamil has 2 avocados. I have 2 avocado trees, too. I got some avocados at Sprouts Farmers Market, and I took out the pits. I put them into water. They sprouted. I put them outside, and they're growing. And one of them is actually probably about 10 feet now, maybe 12 feet, a 3-year-old tree. I don't know when it's going to start to have fruit, and I'm kind of interested because the avocados that I picked, one of them was the Mexican avocado, the Hass avocado, and the other one was the larger, I don't know, it's called the Floricado, whatever it's called, the Florida avocado. And I don't know which ones I planted, so it'll be interesting to see. Both trees took, so we'll see how they do. Looks like, is it Kemi? Kemi from Bradenton is watching. We'll talk to the fan. I'm talking to the fan. Julie, hey, all right, everybody. Let's talk about some weather. I actually do have a lot to talk about. I always have a lot to talk about. And I do want to get to the weekend forecast. I know a lot of you are thinking rain, you've got plans. First of all, what is everybody doing this weekend? I mean, oh, that sip was nice. It's kind of a big weekend, right? I mean, well, I guess next weekend is the last weekend before school, but this is kind of the last weekend that's completely free, right? Dzień dobry, Peter. Hey, we've got somebody that's Polish here too. Dzień dobry, Peter. Nice to see you, Pete. Zapatka. All right, I love that. All right, some Polish folks in the chat tonight too. Pool, I see pool already, Sandra. I mean, are we going somewhere? Are folks just kind of staying around home? Are we trying to do one last weekend escape before the kids go back to school? I feel like that first week back, man, do the patterns of everyone's lives change, right? Even if you don't have kids, suddenly the traffic patterns change, right? If you're heading to work during the summer, it can be quiet in the morning, and suddenly 7 o'clock, it's like the roads are just packed with people. So we're all kind of impacted. So are we just kind of chilling right now? I bet next weekend is going to be a lot of preps for school. So I imagine this weekend is the one where, we actually get out there. Jovi says, wait a second, who's this guy? Oh, wait, now I see the caption. Yes, I am not Dennis, by the way. Jovi, how did you miss this? I've been here all week. Dennis is off. He will be back on Monday. I've been filling in. Movie theater. Hey, Alex is from Wethersfield, Connecticut, now living in St. Pete. I know where Wethersfield is. Been there many times. Hey, Alex, nice to see you. Holiday today in Trinidad. Jamil, what's the holiday? Let us know. What do you guys do? Mary, LOL, who's this guy? I know, what? Where have you guys been? Oh, they're about to see who this guy is. Anyway, let's get to the forecast. This just makes me so happy. Y'all, there is not a single county under a heat advisory in the state of Florida right now. Earlier in the week, it was every county in the state of Florida is under a heat advisory. So we have made a complete turnaround here from where we were back on Sunday and Monday. The closest heat advisories to us are well to the north. These are already issued for Saturday. So it's going to be that inland area of South Carolina, Columbia, Augusta, maybe over toward Macon, and then Alabama and over towards Mississippi, portions of Louisiana too. But that is a much smaller area than where we were just earlier in the week. Remember, it was like up to Chicago, Cleveland, Boston, New York. Everyone was under a heat advisory. Much, much better today and tomorrow. Only made it to 94. Did you wear a jacket today? It was kind of chilly with the clouds, the wind. No, I'm just kidding. It was still hot, but it was much better out there. 95 Lakeland, 96 over towards Avon Park. We're actually in the 80s right now. And I got to tell you, that temperature, I think the temperature is off, or maybe the report is just not coming in from Lake Wales, because there is no way that it is 85 degrees right now in Lake Wales, especially. Look at the radar. This thunderstorm, y'all, this was the real deal. I'm going to back this up. This is backing up 1 hour. So this is now 6:39, an hour ago. There were 910 lightning strikes in that small area in southeastern Polk County in 30 minutes. 1,800 lightning strikes per hour in southeast Polk County. That is pretty impressive. Luckily, as you go forward and see what's going on now, that storm is gone. So if you are in Polk County, if you're in the Lake Wales area, I don't expect anything like this for the rest of the evening. This storm has now moved over towards 192, over towards Osceola County. Right now, the way it's moving, it's kind of holding to the east of Kissimmee. So I think it's going to head east of Kissimmee, maybe work its way north into Orange County. It'll be kind of interesting because as you work east of downtown Orlando, that's UCF and over towards the airport, MCO. So they could be impacted by some of this rain. Titusville is getting some rain, but the rest of us, we're good. I really don't expect, if you live anywhere in Citrus, Hernando, Pasco, Pinellas, Hillsborough, Manatee, and Sarasota counties, no more rain for tonight. No rain threat out there. We are doing really, really good. Fairfield, Ohio. Hey, Linda. How you doing? I used to live in Cleveland. Loved it up there. Absolutely beautiful. Lake Wales is lit. Yeah, Lake Wales literally was lit earlier. Actually, just because you're mentioning Lake Wales, I do want to see how much rain is estimated there. Yeah, this is a big number. This is clearly the heaviest rainfall we've seen all week out of any single thunderstorm, and that was this one. I'm going to take some radar estimates here in Lake Wales. You see solid 2 to 3 inches around Highway 60 in Lake Wales. Now, Highway 60 is probably okay, but there's got to be some secondary roadways here that were not doing well when this was coming down, because it was coming down really, really heavy. Teachers and school staff in Pasco County begin on Monday. Oh, I didn't realize that, Melissa. That's actually a good tip here. Claremont, hey, what's going on, Patty? Watching from Claremont. You're not even in our viewing area. I love that. Let's get Sciencey segment. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you, Patty. We will get Sciencey before the show ends. I don't realize a lot of the teachers, I guess that makes sense, right? They're going back this week in a lot of the school districts just to prepare classrooms and schools for all the students that start the following week. That's actually a good point that you're making here. Same here in Sebring. Why are we cloudy? Okay, so the reason why we're cloudy, y'all, let's actually go back to the satellite picture. I'm gonna have to go through those graphics really quickly again, but I do want to pull this up. It's actually a very interesting situation. You know, I get to talk about lasagna. This is a perfect day to talk about atmospheric lasagna. Remember, is that where we started the week? Was that back on Monday? Tuesday, whenever that was? This is a perfect example of the atmosphere is not as simple as you think. I feel like I need to get the Sciencey headband on already because of that question. Because here's what's going on. Our sea breeze today, near the ground, the winds in the first 3,000 feet of the atmosphere are moving like this. They're moving west to east. That's why the storm started closer to Tampa earlier, and now they're ending up on the East Coast. If you go up 10, 15, 20,000 feet, the winds are doing this. They're going in the opposite direction. So the thunderstorms go up and the clouds that are getting blown up into the upper atmosphere are getting blown back toward the coast. So that's why we're seeing so many clouds. The storms on the east side of the state, that thunderstorm in Lake Wales sent clouds all across the west side of Florida. This is the lasagna. Every layer of the atmosphere is different. Noodles, meat, veggies, cheese, noodles, whatever. As you go up, the layers change and the ingredients change. The characteristics of the atmosphere change. What a great question. I love that. We got a little sciencey here. Put the headband on. It's just us, okay? It's a safe place. All right, everybody. Here we go. I mean, we're going to get sciencey. I'm going to explain stuff. You guys know I'm going to be talking all kinds of sciencey stuff anyway. Might as well get use of this headband. I'm not scheduled to fill in for Dennis for a while. He's going to be here for a while now through hurricane season. I've got some PTO coming up a little bit later in September. We'll see how that goes. Might as well make good use of the headband, right? All right, here we go. Headband is on. Now we can really talk about what's going on in the atmosphere. All right, so for the rest of tonight, we're looking fine. Temperatures are going to be in the 80s. Tomorrow, we're going to start in the 70s and the 80s, and then we're going to get some quick warming. You guys know we end up back in the 90s tomorrow. I do not think we're going to see heat advisories, and there will be that chance for some scattered storms near the coast first half of the day, east of 75 for the second half of the day. Oh, it's on. Ryan says, yeah, it's on. Oh, you better believe it's on. It's on my head, and it's on as if we're getting sciencey. It's on. I get what you're saying. Heat index tomorrow, 100 to 105. Take a look at the hour by hour. This is probably the one graphic you want to see. So if you were wondering about the weekend, take a look at the screen now. This is the one you want to see. So the way the rain times out. Saturday morning, there's going to be that chance in early afternoon along the coast. Now, Futurecast here is making this look scary. It does tend to overdo these storms, all right? The way this model runs, it just tends to, it sees a little pop-up and it automatically makes it into a huge thunderstorm. Are these going to be huge thunderstorms? No, probably not. But there will be some thunderstorms here. And now, I'm not saying this is going to be the Sun Coast. This could be farther north. It could be the Nature Coast, honestly. It's just guessing here. If you do go to a beach or you're at the coast, you're in a boat, in a kayak, you see that thunderstorm pop up, obviously you got to get inside, right? But I wouldn't go home. I would get in the car. Is there a building nearby, a shop or something, wait the storm out, and then go back out there because by the afternoon, everything goes east. And this is going to go east pretty quickly. Futurecast has the storms in Orlando before 4 o'clock. So keep that in mind. If you're thinking theme parks tomorrow, definitely want to make rope drop and get ready for that mid-afternoon or mid to late afternoon break because of storms moving by. And then by 8 o'clock, I think we should start to clear out. But just like today, look at all the clouds. So it may not be sunny. Those clouds are going to get blown right back towards the coast. If someone asks you why, just tell them lasagna. It's all about lasagna. It's just the scientific answer to why we've got clouds. That's the sciencey. Hey, who's that? Miss Mama Rivera. Hey, how are you? Tammy from Brooksville. We need rain. I got you, Tammy. I think next week, we're going to see a lot more rain, especially along the coast. Sunday, similar deal. Midday showers and storms. Again, this is guessing near the coast. They could hang around the first half of the afternoon. Then by the evening, it's all out towards Orlando, and the coast is looking dry. In fact, the next 10 days, unlike this last week when we had a huge temperature bump, I don't see that to being the case. I think the temperatures stay pretty flat. All right. Let's talk about the tropics. We're going to keep it on this system for this one graphic, and then we'll go over to the other computer because I've got a lot loaded here. So the National Hurricane Center is not expecting any kind of development over the next 7 days. But I'm going to asterisk that. I'm going to say, but you see this little line of stuff here off the Carolina coast? There's a frontal system here. One of the models, and surprisingly, it's the Euro. Now, it did this before, and I don't know whether to believe it or not, but I think the Euro may be a little too hot this season. I don't know why, but we had you remember, was it 2 weeks ago, we had that low that was moving east to west across the Gulf, and the Euro kept saying 40, 50% chance of a depression, and nothing happened. And that was not the first time it did that. And it's doing that again off the Carolina coast, except this time it's going a little bit haywire off the East Coast. So let me show you what's going on here. This is the satellite picture across the Atlantic. There's nothing crazy out here now. But when you look at, let me pull up the right tab. I'm so happy I get tab previews as I go over. Okay, this is the European. The next 3 days, the chances of a tropical depression developing. Do you guys see this? I mean, this dark red here, you look at the legend here, that's like 95%. I mean, the Euro basically is sold on a tropical depression forming off the coast of North Carolina and South Carolina. Do you believe that? I mean, the Hurricane Center says nothing. The Euro is going 90% in the next 3 days. Now, the GFS has also nothing in this area, and I'm interested to see what happens. But this, well, I'm going to do a little video update on this. I'm going to record one. Check out my reels at Greg the Weather later. I'll show you some of these models again if you kind of want to get a refresher. But this is interesting. You know, if it was 30 or 40%, I would think, all right. But man, this thing's going 90%. Now, I'm not concerned about it because if a low pressure does form here, it's going that way. All right, so it's moving away from the United States. Bermuda's down here. I suppose it could bring them some rain, some gusty winds. I don't think this is going to be a huge deal. Obviously not an issue for Florida, okay? So there is that. Now, if you take this Euro farther out towards the middle of the month, now, this is interesting. Now we're getting some blues over the Turks and Caicos. Again, remember we talked about this, August 15th area. It's going 15 days out, we're in that 30 to 40% range of a tropical depression or some kind of low somewhere around the Bahamas. Activity starting to pick up. And actually, let's go. Before we go back, I do want to show you this and why I am starting to, you know, if this was earlier in the season, I'd be like, I don't know. But I think because of where we're at in the season, and the way things work out for the rest of the season typically, I think it's worth looking at. So we're obviously with the headband. I mean, we have to show it, right? We have to show it. We're getting SCIENCEY. We're going to talk about what to expect for the rest of August here as you look out over the Atlantic Basin. So let's get SCIENCEY, SCIENCEY. I want to get SCIENCEY. Let's talk about the tropics. It's not very good. Tropics doesn't work. We're going to have to, maybe we'll have to change that phrase into something else. So here's what's going on. Back in July, the areas that we were watching for potential development were in the blue and the green, and there's not a high chance in these areas. Look what happens when you go from July to August. Whew. The Atlantic literally just flips a switch. Everything now, all the areas need to be watched, and you get a lot more activity off the East Coast. And what you're starting to do is wake up this area out here, these tracks from the Atlantic toward the East Coast. This is what we're watching right now. As you go into September, obviously that continues to blow up even more. Water temperatures, I know you guys probably want to take a look at these. They are warm. They're easily into the mid to upper 80s. Not just over the Gulf, but you look out over the Atlantic, though they are not as warm as they were last year, especially out here towards the central Atlantic. That orange area, not the red, that's below 80 degrees. So there's some cooler water out there. Now, those temperatures are going to rise as we go into September, but it's definitely warm enough to support a tropical system as we go out into the middle of August. So back to the models. Let's show you what these models are showing. What do we want to look at first? Let's look at the European first. And the European, I've got this set for August 4th, so that would be late this weekend, late on Sunday. And notice, this is where it was giving us that 90% chance of a depression. It's showing a little cluster of lows. Now, it's going to take those low pressures and move them off to the east. So that's not a concern. They're going to move out into the Atlantic. The regular euro doesn't do much, but sure enough, this is August 12th. Little cluster of lows here, north of Cuba, near the Bahamas. And then as you continue towards the 13th, now this gets messy. I think this is just, the model just has no clue. It's showing lows really from the Atlantic to the Gulf, but it's indicating the potential for some sort of development. So that's the regular euro. Now let's talk about the AI. Now the AI is going to be a little bit more aggressive, and I do want to show you that. But which one is it? Hold on. I want to make sure I show you the right one. Oh, I had it somewhere here. Which one is? Oh, it's this one right here. This one is definitely more aggressive. So as we go toward the end of this period, look at this. I mean, the Euro AI, this is August the 14th, 15th, literally has a tropical system off the southeast coast of the United States. Now, this is fantasy land this far out, even for an AI model, right? I mean, especially, I think, an AI model. But it's a stronger indication that we had, yes, is this what it's going to look like on August 14th, 15th? Absolutely not. This is going to be 100% different. But the indication continues of the tropics waking up and getting a little bit more activity out there in the Atlantic basin. I think that's really, really interesting. You can actually see that in the tracks. So these are all the potential tracks. These are the ensemble tracks from the Euro AI. I mean, they're all over the place at 15 days out. So not very helpful in terms of an actual system or where they're going to go, but it's definitely showing things waking up. The regular euro is really not that different. So this is the AI regular, AI regular. I mean, they're both showing a very active or a much more active wave pattern and the potential for systems to either track into the Gulf or up the East Coast. Now, I got to tell you, for those of you that are new, early as the season gets busy, these East Coast storms, yes, they can head like Irma did up towards the Eastern Gulf. That is a very low chance event. And the reason is because they have to perfectly thread in between Hispaniola, Puerto Rico, and Cuba and stay over water before making it into the Gulf. It is much more likely that one of these systems from the Atlantic goes east and comes in somewhere from the east coast of Florida. Now, that would still impact us, but an East Coast storm would start weakening as it moves into our area. So those are typically less impactful storms, and then all the surge stays on the East Coast, and that is certainly what we want to avoid. So those kinds of those east to west long track Atlantic storms, we look towards South Florida and the East Coast more than we do toward the Gulf. I'm not saying it can't happen that it would thread the islands. It can, but very, very unlikely. Is that a Dorian-like track? That would be, right? Okay, yeah, Dorian took that track, right? Right across the Atlantic, kind of through the Bahamas, and then turned up the East Coast. We definitely need to give... Greg, are you leaving us in 4 minutes? I am leaving you if you are watching on streaming. If you're watching on streaming, I'm going to be leaving you in 40 seconds. I will stick around for a few more minutes. We're actually going to do a little bit more in-depth on the tropics here. I'm going to show you a couple more of these models that I have loaded. So if you are watching on ABC Action News Plus, you are about to lose us here as DPL goes off at 7:58. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend if you are watching on the streaming channel on ABC Action News Plus. It was great filling in for Denis this week. Had a lot of fun getting sciencey about the models out there tonight. And Denis will be back on DPL starting again, of course, on Monday evening at 7:30 right here on ABC Action News Plus. All right. That takes care of the streaming, folks. That means it's just me and the Facebook folks. Jamil, I'm sorry. I had a hurricane. I know we talked about this. Jamil, our friend from Trinidad. I had some volcano stuff loaded. I didn't even get to talk about it. It's kind of weird to bring it up now because we haven't talked about volcanoes at all. We've been getting so sciencey with the models. But let's talk about these hurricane models. So that was the Euro. There's one more that was interesting that I had loaded. So this is the actual Euro showing the rain. And what this is actually showing is it does pick up on an area of low pressure. This is August the 12th, somewhere off the East Coast. And it's got waves, y'all. It's got waves for days. Tropical wave, tropical wave, tropical wave, tropical wave. Big tropical wave coming in off the African coast. It's got a very busy intertropical convergence zone. So Jamil down in Trinidad, you're going to be getting waves coming through probably the first 2 weeks of August. Get busy with rain. That's all it does there, right? It just rains. But as these waves move by, you're going to get more and more rain. The Euro does also, so here's Friday, Saturday. Let's get into Sunday. The Euro does show Monday maybe, shows hints of this weak low pressure off the East Coast. It doesn't really do anything with it. And it didn't on the other outputs too. It doesn't really do much with this. And again, it would head off the East Coast and away from the United States. But you know, this is the kind of thing where if you see an alert this weekend from the ABC Action News app, of course, if a tropical depression forms, you're going to get a push alert from our app. Don't freak out, okay? Rule number 7, this is going to be an East Coast formation. There's no way that something would form near Florida or the Gulf that we would have to be concerned about over the weekend. So we're fine. You don't have to worry about it. You say, oh, okay, I knew that could happen. That's going to be off the Carolina coast. It is not headed toward Florida. So the Euro really does keep it busy. Now, the GFS, which I also have loaded, this is just so weird to me because I am so used to the GFS just cranking out the hurricanes, and it is not doing that. I need to read up. Maybe there was these models do get updated. The software gets upgraded every year, so there could have been a tweak that may be doing that. It is showing that low off the East Coast, which is why this is for Monday, which is why I'm very curious to see why the Hurricane Center does not have a yellow blob off the coast of the Carolinas for the weekend. I don't know, maybe they think it's not going to be fully tropical. There's a funnel system there, so it would be a subtropical or a post-tropical storm, probably a subtropical storm if something formed. But still, I think they should put a yellow blob there. We might get an update later on this evening, so we'll see. But the GFS does move that system away, kind of into the central Atlantic. The GFS actually has another low developing off the East Coast next weekend. Same deal, there's a front there, then that moves away. Very active off the coast, East Coast pattern. And honestly, the way, when you look at the GFS, and I think somewhat the Euro, but especially the GFS, the way it really, it brings in some low pressure here along the East Coast, kind of pushes this high pressure that's over the Atlantic south a little bit. It's squeezing it off the East Coast. You know, this is a favorable pattern for us, because anything that tries to go around this high might get pulled towards that low pressure early. It might turn off the East Coast and get pushed away. So it might do one of these sharp turns here and then away from the East Coast. Or if it's far enough to the south, it may just do one of these things where it tracks across the Caribbean and then into Central America. So that could be a favorable pattern since we are getting so busy to go into that. Maybe that would be something that I think would definitely be favorable. Where's the blob? You know what? Let's check. I'm gonna, you know, the Hurricane Center, they do issue these updates. Now, there's not usually one scheduled. There is not usually one scheduled for DPL time. No, I don't see anything. You see that? This is the blob forecast. No, they updated it at 8 p.m., so this just came in. This just came in. They have no blobs, no tropical cyclone formation expected over the next 7 days. You know, it's an opinion, right? I mean, do I think we're going to see a hurricane off the East Coast? No, but if we see a tropical depression, I think folks would like to know about it at least, or even a subtropical storm. I think that would definitely be interesting. All right, guys, thank you so much. Smashing the ban button just for us. Anna Maria wants me to, who wants me to smash the button just for the sake of smashing the button? If you'd like to see that, let me know. Have we had any spammers in here? Not a single spanner? I can't believe it. I cannot believe all these folks, not a single spammer tonight. That is really, really impressive. I think we basically banned all of them. Maybe they're scared of the ban button. Yes, everybody has, yes, smash it. Okay, here we go. Now, okay, so here's how we're gonna do. We're gonna make this dramatic. I love being dramatic. I'm gonna smash the button and then I'm cutting the stream. I'm banning you guys and I'm banning you from watching DPL for the rest of this evening so you can have a wonderful weekend. So let's do this in dramatic fashion. We'll go full screen to the Weather Center. All right, so you guys see me full screen. The ban button is right there. It's kind of, you know what, I'm gonna mash it like this because you guys can see it better. Thank you for having me this week. You guys were amazing. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. For those of you, teachers, administrators, going back to school next week, good luck. By the way, I already have a bunch of requests. I'm not ignoring them, but I'm waiting until this weekend to start answering request emails. If you want me to visit your kid's classroom, teachers, administrators, parents, have the teacher email me. I will be getting to those. Please get them in the next 2 weeks. It is not impossible that by the end of August, I will be completely booked up for the rest of the school year. So if you want me to come to your kid's class to talk about the weather, parents, if that's something you think your teacher would like, it is a free thing that I do as part of my community service, but the teacher or someone at the school needs to invite me. The parents can't do it. greg.dee@wfts.com. You got to email me. All right, everybody, have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for being a great audience.